Okay, I'm just going to fire a few questions at you and
Yep.
see what comes to mind.
See if I know anything.
See if you,
Do I get a pass mark at the end?
Yeah, okay, we'll be asking questions and testing you later on. Okay, let's see if we've got any response. Yeah, good. Okay.
Testing.
What's your first name?
Laurence.
Where are you from?
Originally from Bolton, near Manchester in the UK.
Where do you call home?
It's a difficult one, but I've lived in many places around the world, but I think Sydney, Australia is home for me now.
Fair enough. Okay.
When I'm not living on my boat, which is currently home.
That's right. Favourite colour?
Blue.
Favourite ice cream flavour?
Oh.
Sorry. Please continue.
Oh, caramel crunch, I think.
Best film?
Oh, difficult one. Shawshank Redemption.
Ooh, okay. Best book?
Oh, Lord of the Rings. That was one's for Jemima, yeah.
What's the name of your boat?
Iola, or Yola, as people call it in Welsh and Spanish,
Right.
and Portuguese, I think. Yeah.
Okay. And what's the type and model of the boat?
She's a Rival 38 built in 1979 in Southampton in the UK.
Okay. And that means she's how long in metres?
11.4, I think,
Okay.
12.5.
Okay. When did you first see the boat?
Physically or online?
Physically.
Physically.
All right. Well, both.
No, I had a boat in Sydney, which is a Bavaria 36, which I'd sold, and I obviously started looking around for what I was going to get next. And I started looking at some of the international sites, and there was actually a very nice boat I can't remember what it was, that was in, I think, Fiji, that was brilliant and was at a really great price, but I just couldn't get the timing right to go and fetch it. And then I saw this in the UK. It was down in Falmouth, and I got my sister and brother-in-law to go and have a look at it for me. That was in October 2019, and we then bought it, but then with COVID and lockdown I only got to actually step aboard and see the boat physically in May 2022.
Wow.
So
That was a long time.
it was, yeah. It was one of those moments where you hope you don't have buyer's remorse.
What was your feeling when you first saw her, when you actually stepped aboard?
Very positive, really good, yeah.
Yeah.
I was glad that it was as I'd imagined.
Yeah, that's cool. What's the origin of the boat name?
It was originally named Iola's Rival. Many rivals have rival in the name. And we believe it's either Greek mythology. I think Iola or Yola was a daughter of one of the Greek gods. And in Welsh it means beautiful lady and violet, I think.
Right. Well, she lives up to that. So where are you now?
We're about a day and a half out from St. Lucia in the Caribbean, having just crossed the Atlantic from the Canaries. We left how many days ago? 19 days ago?
Yeah.
Yeah, on day 19.
Day 19. Okay. And where are you going?
So next stop is St. Lucia, because I've got to drop you off. You've got plans there.
Yes.
And then hopefully I'll be spending some time in the Caribbean, then going on to Panama, across the Pacific, and to Australia. Still deciding whether I continue round and do a full circumnavigation and end up back in the UK, or whether I stop off in Australia and stay there for a while.
Time will tell.
Well, I've learnt not to make plans too far into the future, because
yeah,
as we all know, they change. So
yeah, fair enough. Well, we'll be following.
Currently following the
Yeah.
whichever way the wind blows.
Well, as soon to be landlubber again, I'll be following your progress. And how do you think the boat's performed on this long trip? Because you've done trips around the
Yeah.
UK, but this is now the longest trip that you've done. How's she done?
This is not only the longest trip that I've done on this boat, but also the longest sail that I've done without being on land on any boat. It's gone really well, yeah, touch wood. Had a few niggles, but nothing major. Had some electronics issues recently, but the boat's performed phenomenally well.
Okay,
Yeah.
good.
And if we can, given that we started off in some very light, fickle winds, if we can cross in 3 weeks on a boat this size, I think we've done phenomenally well.
Okay. How did you choose your crew?
They were foisted upon me by the internet. What was the site? It was
Facebook.
it was a Facebook crew finding group. So yeah, so I found yourself, Jonathan, and Jemima through. Yeah, so it was just. I was originally planning to do it on my own, and then I saw Jonathan's post looking for a ride across.
Yeah.
And we sailed together. We met up in the UK, sailed together across from Betheli to A Coruña in Spain, and then decided we'd make the trip across together. And then I also saw Jemima's post on Facebook, Atlantic Crossing or whatever it was, and that's how the three of us ended up. It was going to be 4, but
Yeah.
unfortunately Ariane couldn't join us.
Okay. All right. Well, this is interesting now because when you think about how far you've travelled with the boat from the UK to Spain, then you had some crew with you down the coast of Portugal, and there were 2 crew, so skipper and 2 crew, 3,
Mhm.
and we now have skipper and 2 crew. So, what advice would you give someone else who might be considering doing this particular trip in a boat of this size?
Ooh, how many hours have you got? I don't know. What regarding number of crew?
No, not just number of people. It's just, I mean,
Um,
that's obviously a consideration for many other things, isn't it?
It's I think a lot of people get too worried about what's the right boat, is it the right size, have we got the right crew, and at the end of the day everything's a compromise, so you just need to get out there and do it.
Yeah.
People do it in, we've seen some of the big mega yachts that have been participating in the Ark, but we've been alongside small boats, people single-handed on 29 foot, 28 foot boats that are, as long as they're seaworthy,
Yeah.
there's no rule. You can have lots of electronics. Some of them will fail. At the end of the day, as we were joking the other day, people used to cross the ocean 200 years ago with a bit of wood and a piece of string with knots in it.
Yeah.
Why not?
Yeah. Okay.
And not knowing what was on the other side,
Yes,
That's right.
whether it'd fall off.
The traditional Atlantic crossing route is with the trade winds generally going south towards the Cape Verde
Uh-huh.
Islands and then heading west across the Atlantic, almost direct, a bit of a dip towards the Caribbean. You haven't done that. You've done something a little bit different. Describe what you've done.
Well, we left Gran Canaria, I think, 2 or 3 days after the Ark fleet left, and most of those boats went the traditional route, which is south towards Cape Verde, and ended up in a bit of a hole with no wind, just off the African coast. And now with weather routing apps, you get a very good view of the midterm forecast. And we had an opportunity basically to start off heading west out of Gran Canaria before we started to head south, and we managed to get through some light spells and have made really good time. And every day we've changed, downloaded the latest routing plan, and it's worked out really well.
Okay, the satellite contact that you've got through the Iridium, that's been invaluable. Would you be able to do it without that?
Yeah. So it might have taken a different route. It might have taken us a little bit longer. We might not have had the advantage of getting a daily weather update.
Yeah.
We could still do it without it.
Yes.
Yeah.
But in your view, it's probably the best way of, or one of the best ways of approaching the crossing.
I think because the Ark tends to leave early because they want to get to the Caribbean before Christmas. When we were in the port on the Puerto Blanco, on the very tip of Gran Canaria, the
Pasito Blanco.
Pasito Blanco. There was a boat next to us in the marina there, and they decided to leave a week later.
Yeah.
Until the stronger trade winds kicked in. And so I think that we just went at a time where the winds were very fickle initially, and so having the weather routing then was invaluable.
Yeah.
But if you don't have that, then you just wait a little bit later until the short to mid-term forecast is for strong, reliable winds.
Have there been any moments of serious concern?
No, I don't think so. I'm not sure about the crew, but not from the skipper's
That's an unfair
perspective.
question when we're both looking at him.
Not from the skipper's perspective, no. And we've talked about it before. I think the worst, from a weather perspective, the worst because you joined me across Biscay. The worst weather that we've had was the very first day when we left Betheli to sail across to Ireland and went into Rosslare. Those are the worst winds and the worst seas that we've had, and the most uncomfortable night that we had on the boat. The rest has been, relatively straightforward.
Okay. So, other than the crew, what's been the biggest challenge on this crossing?
I think getting the shopping. No, I mean provisioning a boat for 3, possibly 4 weeks at sea.
Yeah.
And at the time initially we were looking at 4 people. For 4 people you've got to consider how you're going to keep fresh stuff, where you're going to stow everything on board. And thankfully, I was able to delegate to Jemima the meal plan and the shopping list, and that's worked out really well.
It certainly has, yeah, it certainly has. Okay, so best meal on board?
Oh, fresh fish, I think. I'm not sure.
Fresh
There's
fish.
been too many.
There's been so many good meals. It has been we have been very well fed.
Yeah,
I will
we've
admit that. That's
exceptionally
fantastic.
well.
Yeah, exceptionally well. Very well indeed.
We all deserve a pat on our backs.
Yeah.
Yes.
So we think when do you think we're going to arrive in St Lucia? Hopefully into Rodney Bay.
It's another 2.5 days. So
Tuesday today, so sometime on Thursday.
No, 2 days I think.
Yeah.
So it'll be Tuesday, sometime on Thursday. Yeah.
If the wind graces us.
I mean, for the whole crossing, we've been averaging over 5 knots.
Yeah.
We did motor for a day when we were leaving Gran Canaria, just so we could get into the wind.
Yes.
And we've motored once or twice. We've had to charge the batteries because we've got the freezer running.
Yeah.
But on the whole, it's been sailing all the way.
Have you used all the sails you've got?
No, not used the storm jib. I've got some people say I've got too many sails on board and too much rope. But you never know when it's going to come in handy. Now, we haven't used the storm jib yet, and we haven't used the new asymmetrical spinnaker.
But we've used all the others.
We've used everything else.
Yeah.
I think. I don't think there's anything else. Which has been fun. We've used the full spinnaker, we've used the old asymmetric, we've had 2 staysails out, wing on wing.
Yeah.
Lots of combos.
Yeah, we've had lots of practice changing sails, and then
Yeah.
we've had days where we've had the same sail plan for 3 or 4 days.
Yes.
And not touched anything.
Yeah.
Maybe tweak the hydrovane.
Okay. And is there anything on this passage that you had hoped you might experience that you haven't?
No, I don't think so.
Okay.
I think it's been really good.
Had a good swim.
We could have done with having a few more of those, I think, but we've been going too fast.
Yes. Okay. Well, I want to thank you for giving me the opportunity of being able to cross the Atlantic. And
That's a
so
pleasure.
far, we're nearly over so far, I've thoroughly enjoyed it. The only thing I would say that I would wish that we didn't have, and that was the knocking and banging around when we're in the galley trying to cook.
I think I'm alright with it now, to be honest.
Yeah, I mean,
It's a challenge, isn't it?
That's, I think you get it on any boat, is when
Yeah.
you're going dead downwind in an ocean swell,
Yeah.
you're going to get a bit of rocking. So that has been challenging at times.
It has, yeah. I'm looking forward to the celebrations when we get in.
Yeah, me too.
Big celebration.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, thank you,
No,
Laurence.
it's an achievement.
Woo, thank you, Laurence. Thanks
Yeah.
for picking up my Facebook ad.
Tastes good?
Pretty good. Yeah. Teeth a bit.
Well, let's hope the AIS is still working.